This girl catches bees in a cup, then held it and released it out the window. She wasn't scared at all. Her classmate looked at her adoringly. The girl's name was Emma. Her mother tragically passed away in an accident just after she was born. For the past 9 years, she has lived with her father, David. Unlike her peers, Emma displays a maturity that far exceeds her age. She's exceptionally bright, passing all her subjects. Yet, there's a certain obsessiveness about her. One day, Emma stood by the window, watching indifferently as a struggling orange cat drowned in a pond. Her cold demeanor raised suspicions about her involvement in the cat's unfortunate demise. At breakfast, Emma brought up the Citizenship Award for the semester. The medal was akin to an Olympic gold, symbolizing exemplary qualities. She seemed determined to win it. In David's eyes, his daughter outshone other children. Whenever he spoke of Emma in public, his face beamed with the pride of a doting father, unaware that Emma was not as perfect as he believed. Emma was a master of disguise. Even her smile was practiced in front of a mirror. During a break at school, she deliberately bumped into a classmate, then feigned concern to comfort him while stealthily stealing his watch. Nobody noticed, except for the teacher, who saw everything. The day of the awards ceremony finally arrived, and Emma shed her usual palette of blacks, whites, and grays for something more festive. Adorned with a bow tie hairband, a pearl necklace, and a red dress, she looked like a little princess straight out of a fairy tale. Eyes fixed on the shimmering medal, she eagerly awaited her name to be called. However, when her teacher announced her classmate's name instead, Emma's smile froze on her face. While her peers applauded, she managed to contain her emotions, tapping her high heels on the floor in silent protest. After the ceremony, David approached the teacher to subtly inquire where Emma might have fallen short. The teacher, with over 20 years of experience, was frank. She described Emma as one of the most unique students she had ever encountered. Brave to the point of lacking any apparent fear and more akin to a skilled actress, always capable of drawing attention when needed. David was unsettled by these words. They hardly seemed like praise. Comforting Emma, David reassured her that award or no award, she was still the best in his eyes. Despite her verbal assurances of happiness for her friend's success, Emma was secretly plotting. As the celebration continued, she quietly led her deskmate away from the crowd to the edge of a cliff. Soon after, the boy's body was discovered at the base of the cliff. His medal missing, the parents were devastated. Discussing the boy's death, David and his sister expressed their sorrow and concern that the incident might traumatize Emma. Unbeknownst to them, Emma, overhearing their conversation, smirked in the shadows, her expression one of smug satisfaction. The morning after the tragic incident, David brought up the previous day's events, hoping to help Emma cope with any negative emotions. However, she appeared unusually composed, which struck David as odd, but he didn't dwell on it, attributing it to Emma's inherent resilience. With spring break approaching and his job demanding much of his time, David hired a nanny, Chloe, who seemed to struggle with emotional issues. One evening while David was away on business, Chloe surreptitiously took several anti-anxiety pills from a drawer. While trying to engage in conversation with Emma during a TV session, Chloe found Emma more difficult to handle than the average child. Emma exposed Chloe's act of stealing the medication and used this knowledge to manipulate and boss her around. Though resentful, Chloe felt compelled to comply to keep her job. On the day of the boy's funeral, while everyone mourned his loss and speculated that the missing medal had sunk into the sea, believing his death to be an accident, Emma displayed a facade of grief in public. However, once back home, her demeanor shifted dramatically. She enjoyed her meal with a smile, showing no sign of sorrow. This unsettling disparity in her behavior deepened David's unease. Noticing her father in her bedroom, Emma grew tense, fearing he might discover something amiss. While reviewing photos from the day of the award ceremony, David noticed that Emma seemed out of place among her peers, further heightening his concerns about his daughter's true nature and the recent troubling events. The following day, the teacher, accompanied by a lawyer, visited David's home, aiming to clarify the circumstances surrounding the boy's fall from the cliff. However, Emma and Chloe overheard their conversation. To avoid further questions, Emma cunningly knocked over a glass jar, injuring herself in the process. The visit was cut short as the teacher and lawyer had to leave to allow her to tend to her wound. Chloe, on the other hand, harbored suspicions about Emma's involvement in the boy's death. She approached David, apologizing for not taking better care of Emma, leading to her accident. Though Chloe didn't expose Emma, she hinted to David that she got along well with Emma. But privately, Chloe warned Emma that David was growing suspicious about her connection to the cliff incident. Seeing Emma's slightly panicked reaction confirmed Chloe's suspicions. Meanwhile, Emma learned that the teacher was still investigating at the boys' home. A sinister plan began to form in her mind. Just as the teacher concluded her investigation and was driving along a forest road, a wasp crawled onto her face and into her hair, causing a momentary panic. After the wasp flew away, she continued on her way, unaware that Emma had strategically placed a wasp nest in the back of her car. On one unexpected day, Chloe found the missing medal under Emma's bed. In a bold move, she placed it on David's bedside lamp, setting a trap. Emma, realizing her trophy was exposed, nonchalantly entered David's room and swiftly grabbed the medal. But as she attempted to leave, David called out to her. Cornered, Emma reluctantly handed over the medal. Initially, Emma tried to vehemently deny any wrongdoing, but Chloe undercut her by revealing that the medal was hidden under Emma's bed. As Emma turned to Chloe, her eyes flashed with murderous intent. Faced with her father's probing questions, Emma quickly concocted a new story. She claimed that she and the boy had played a game, and upon winning, he had lent her the medal as a reward. As to why the boy fell off the cliff, she professed innocence with a feigned look of cluelessness. David explained that everyone wanted the medal back to properly honor the boy with his belongings in his burial. Emma's cold retort that the boy wouldn't know whether the medal was there or not shocked David, revealing to him that Emma's calm demeanor was not bravery, but a lack of empathy. The next day, David took Emma to return the medal to the boy's family. Facing scrutiny, he relayed Emma's fabricated story from the previous day to the boy's mother. Emma put on an act of contrite apology, expressing regret for keeping the medal and pretending to be just a child without malicious intent. The boy's mother, touched by the gesture, forgave Emma and thanked her for returning the medal. During the visit, David learned of the teacher's fatal car accident caused by a mysteriously appearing wasp nest inside her car. Perhaps feeling guilty or fearful, Emma insisted that they leave quickly. Later, David discovered that a wasp nest that had been hanging under their eaves was missing, linking Emma indirectly to two tragic events. Believing more firmly now in his daughter's deep-seated issues, David took to the internet to research behavioral signs of mental problems in children. The traits listed: habitual lying, cruelty to animals, lack of empathy, fit Emma almost perfectly. Back at home, Chloe mocked Emma, warning her that it was only a matter of time before the police caught up with her. She even joked about marrying David to become Emma's stepmother. Unbeknownst to Chloe, such words would only provoke Emma further. If she had known her own fate, perhaps she would have held her tongue. Emma made it clear to her father that she did not want a stepmother. Although David was not fond of Chloe, he did go out on a date with another woman that evening. Meanwhile, Chloe, unable to find Emma, searched the property. As she entered the tool shed, the heavy iron door slammed shut behind her. Realizing this was Emma's doing, Chloe demanded she open the door. Instead, both doors were locked, and Emma ignited gasoline outside, setting the shed ablaze. By the time David returned, the fire was mostly extinguished by firefighters. The police speculated that Chloe might have been smoking secretly in the tool shed, accidentally igniting the gasoline. The weight of these continuous tragic incidents was too much for David, and he confronted Emma in the middle of the night. Emma confessed to the boy's death, claiming it was not her fault as the boy had threatened to expose her for stealing the medal. She admitted to pushing him, but did not expect him to fall and drown. Watching his daughter coldly recount these events was devastating for David. The next morning, the sheriff called, wanting to speak with Emma, but as a father, David chose to protect her and declined due to her illness. Concerned about the possibility of Emma being taken by the police, he took her to a remote lakeside cabin. On the way, David was torn between his rational understanding that he should not shield Emma and his paternal instincts. Soon after, the police informed David that the tool shed fire was indeed arson. That night, he was haunted by dreams of a disfigured Chloe. Every day at the cabin was a torment for David, and he soon avoided answering his phone. Emma noticed David's distress, catching him watching videos about the characteristics of killers and contemplating a handgun. In the dead of night, Emma kissed her father's cheek and silently turned on the gas in the cabin, calmly drinking a beverage afterward before heading to the lakeside to await the grim outcome. Fortunately, David awoke in time to turn off the gas. Seeing Emma standing by the lake, he was struck by a profound sense of despair at the lengths to which his young daughter would go, even contemplating killing her own father. After the harrowing experiences, David finally made a decisive move. He secretly mixed sleeping pills into Emma's favorite hot chocolate. However, Emma, anticipating his plan, stealthily swapped their cups when he wasn't looking. Under the effect of the sleeping pills, David began to drift into a heavy slumber. Seizing the opportunity, Emma picked up a handgun with the intent to kill David and stage a suicide. Due to David's habitual use of sleeping pills, he had developed some tolerance and was not completely knocked out. Emma's first shot missed and instead jolted David awake. Panicked but still groggy, Emma grabbed the phone, called the police, and fabricated a story claiming that David was trying to kill her. Sobbing and pleading for help, she locked herself in the bathroom. David, in a desperate state, followed her, intending to end both their lives. Just as David was about to pull the trigger, a neighbor, alerted by the noise, arrived at the scene. Misinterpreting the situation, the neighbor saw David as the aggressor and, without a chance for explanation, fatally shot him. In the aftermath, Emma's Aunt Angela, concerned for Emma's well-being and believing her to be a traumatized child, tenderly embraced her, unaware that Emma had already manipulated the entire situation to her advantage, her expression revealing a sinister satisfaction.